So cruising with kids, we love to do this once a year. Okay, once a year, not twice. Maybe we could do it twice, but we usually do it during spring break. And why we choose spring break time is because everyone is usually stressed out with school, work, planning, vacations, and I feel like cruising is so stress-free. Like you get on the cruise, there's activities planned for you, there's shows, there's food. You don't have to think about anything except for maybe your excursion.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you really think about it, it's like a built-in activity every single day or multiple times during the day. And that's why I know I like it, because the last thing you want to do on vacation is really just manage a lot of stuff. That's when you're trying to get away from all the management. So I really like that part about it. What I also like about it is the fact that, like, even with our kids, it's like when they get up, they realize that there is a set schedule, though. They know what we're going to do first. We're going to go ahead and get some breakfast. And then while we're in breakfast, we're looking over the itinerary and kind of going, okay, what are we going to do from today? Like, or what excursion are we taking today? Because that's all part of the planning process before we go on. So they're looking forward to that the minute that, they wake up inside, in the morning. So I said it.
And I think for our kids, it's almost like they almost feel like they're at school because they make so many friends.
Yeah.
So they really look forward to the kids club. Like, they are like, hey, we're going to go to the kids club. And that just makes them feel like there's a bunch of kids on the ship and I get to know my friends and I get to hang out, or I get to go to the pool, the slides and things like that. And they just always have something to look forward to. Even if it's a show that we're going to, they have something that there's something to look forward to. And that just makes it so much more worth it to us. And for me, the best part is I am not thinking about where are we going to go eat? What restaurant are we going to go to tonight?
I knew that was coming.
Like, what restaurant are we going to go to? What, who wants this for breakfast? It's just, everything is right there and you get to choose. So it's not like, hey, let's try this or let's try that. You might like this, you might not like that. But it's not feeling like we're wasting money, as far as going to a restaurant and being frustrated on, okay, what do you want? What are you going to eat? And for Carter, he has an egg allergy. So we're always trying to look at the restaurants to see, is there, something he can have? But on a cruise, the staff and the wait staff, they get to know you. So they know that he has an egg allergy. So they offer him things that he can have. So it really takes that off of us. Our plate.
Right. So one of the biggest things that I say was the biggest benefit of cruising, and I tell this to people all the time, is the fact that you can visit multiple places and you do not have to take a flight. And that, for me, I mean, I like flying, but I'm just saying you get to visit all these different islands or all these different ports and really get an idea of what the port or the island is like. Because for us, that's how we visited St. Martin, and we were like, hey, we like St. Martin. Let's actually fly back here for a longer period of time next time. And also, that's how we found one of the hotels that we want to go to in St. Martin as well. So I think that's one of the biggest benefits. You get to see so many different things on one cruise on different days and really get that vibe. So it just expands like your horizons as far as saying, I really like this part of Mexico. So let's try this next time on spring break, or let's try this next time on fall break, which is another video.
And fall break is a good time to go. But I will say with the islands, I know so many people think that you don't get a lot of time on an island, and you don't. So that is a downside to it, that sometimes you do feel rushed depending on what time the ship is leaving. And we've had that experience where we're like, oh gosh, I wish I had more time. But the nice thing about that as well is that you can make it what you want it to be. So if you want to just have a beach day on that island, have a beach day. If you want to go ATV riding, go do that. And that makes it a lot of fun for us. You don't necessarily have to get off the cruise ship either, because that's a great time when the cruise ship is completely empty and you get to do all the activities on board without the fuss or the hassle of people around you.
I've never experienced that. She has. I haven't.
Yes, I did say much all the time. But
one day I will.
Yeah, and it's about when it comes to cruising, it's about picking the right ship for you and your family.
That's big.
So I want to say, can't stress that enough. If you go on a cruise and you pick a party boat, you might have a bad experience if you have kids.
Unless the kids are in the party. No.
But you might have a bad experience. You might get on there and feel like cruising is not for you. Or if you pick a boat that maybe doesn't have a lot of activities on it, it's not going to be a great experience. Or if you pick an older ship, we've done that before, where the price was just really good. And we're like, oh, let's go on this ship because the price was good. And we absolutely hated it because the ship was older. It had a lot of nice activities and fun stuff to do. But, when we came back to the room, I was just like, this ain't it.
Yeah.
You know, it was just,
Yeah.
you know, so it kind of put a damper on it. And when you walked around the ship, you could tell that it was older. So you have to pick the right ship for you.
Yep.
So it's going to take you doing a little bit of research on your end, and you will find that right cruise. Now, we did Disney Cruise and we did Royal Caribbean. And for our kids, it's all about the activities. So we love Disney Cruise, but when we went on Royal Caribbean, they loved the rock climbing, the zip lines, the bumper cars, all the things that they had to offer. So for us, that's what worked best for us.
Yeah, that's definitely what works for us.
Thanks so much for watching our video. We're just taking a quick second to let you know that we have a website.
Yeah, did you guys know that La Pointe Life is online at www.lapointelife.com? You might see it down at the bottom of this description. Right now, we're loading up all our tutorials. We're loading up all our guides that we have because we believe that every family should travel outside their zip code and experience life outside their zip code. So head over to lapointelife.com right now and make sure you check out some of the resources that we got out there for you guys.
Yeah, so keep watching the video, like, subscribe, and join the journey with us.
Let's get you back to the video. Now let's move on to another portion of this, and that's going to be all-inclusive resorts.
Okay.
And now, see, this is where I come in because I actually like, going to all-inclusive because I like the fact that, again, just like Brizette mentioned before, there's no thinking about what you're going to eat. It's just really, what am I going to eat today from this particular restaurant? You don't have to go out anywhere. You don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to look through reviews to try to see if this is a good restaurant or not before you venture out the hotel. Literally, it's all in front of you. And the fact of the matter is that you don't have to plan anything like that out. In my opinion, it makes the day go by much easier, especially with kids, because they know what they like for breakfast. And most of the all-inclusives that we actually been to, they would have those staples on the menu, and they may have different things as far as saying, hey, today is Caribbean day. So they may have a Caribbean dish, let's say, for instance, for breakfast or lunch or dinner, whatever the case may be. But they also have those staples. They know there's pizza there,
Yeah.
and we know if all else fails,
There's
pizza.
I will say that there's always usually multiple restaurants.
Yeah.
So again, it's doing your research and trying to figure out, hey, what kind of restaurants do they offer? Am I going to like this food? The one thing I will say when you pick an all-inclusive resort, make sure you don't pick something that's so far out that there's nothing else around. For our family, we don't like to just stay on the resort, and we don't like to just eat resort food.
No.
We do like to have the opportunity and the option to say, hey, today we're going to go off the resort, and it's just a couple of, we can walk there, or we can take a short cab ride somewhere else, and we get to eat the local food. And we also get to experience what the locals experience, or go out and do some excursions that are not just on the resort. Sometimes you pick a resort that's so isolated and there's nothing else that you can do, and then things get expensive because you are limited to what the resort's excursions are. So they'll charge you a price and you're like, I gotta do it because it's so far out, and if I call it a cab or something like that, it's gonna be really pricey, or you might not know what to trust. So that happened to us. We went to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That drive was
that was
an hour and some change.
Actually, it was longer than that. Yeah, it was about 2.5
crazy.
hours from where we came in the airport, and it was a rocky road. We got to the beach. We were looking forward to the beach, but it was a rocky beach.
Yeah, it was rocky. The resort was really nice, but you were stuck, and you had to just have what was on the resort for the food. You couldn't venture out. When we did, it was we did one day because it took so long to get from point A to point B. It was
Just
you don't, to go to downtown. So I felt like we missed so much of what Costa Rica had to offer because it was so far. We also did that in DR. We stayed at the Hard Rock, which we love the Hard Rock. It was great. The food was amazing. However, it was so far from everything that, it wasn't terribly far, but we were stuck with the excursions that the resort had to offer. And which they were nice, but still the prices were expensive. Because it was the resort, The
other thing that I really like about the fact that when you go to an all-inclusive, being that you're going to be stable in that place or set in that place for the week or 2 weeks that you're there, is really to try the local foods. on a cruise, you may not have a lot of opportunity to get out and really go to like the best local restaurant because there may be a wait. They may not be open depending on where you're going. But at least when you're on an all-inclusive, you do have your fail-safe. You do have the resort food. But just like Brizette said, we don't like to eat the resort food every single day. Yes, we pay for it, but we don't want to eat it every single day. And we're not heavy drinkers at all. Yeah. So that's not even the all-inclusive portion to what we're going for, but to try the local foods. And what I really like about it is because the workers there, they're usually from the area or they're not too far away, and they give really good recommendations. And we've had some amazing local food, and we're just talking Caribbean right now. Amazing oxtails, amazing peas and rice, and amazing things. Even when we went to Portugal, we were given some really great restaurant recommendations when we were in Porto, and we tried this restaurant, and it was what I mean, it was so good. But we wouldn't have known that if we were just in for maybe 5 hours. Yeah. Because we wouldn't have been there at night. We would have already been left off the cruise port at that point.
I will say, make sure also for your kids, it's really important when you pick a resort that's an all-inclusive that you kind of look at what the amenities are for kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because I would say that's a big part for us. I mean, you go in as an adult, it's just the two of you, you can make it work. You know, you're always going to find a pool or a beach and it's going to be great. But if there are no activities and it doesn't cater to kids, like we were in Phuket. We were at an all-inclusive, and it was a semi all-inclusive because dinner. No, it was all-inclusive, right?
No.
I know breakfast was included.
Breakfast was included.
It was so good.
It was so good.
But the activities for kids kind of were blah, so it was more a spa for adults. The kids still had a great time, but as far as the kids club, it was really for little babies.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And they went to this little campfire thing, but we made the most of it because at nighttime we were able to go to night markets. We were able to go off the resort and do things, so that made it worth it. But make sure there's slides. Make sure there's a kids club that's age appropriate. Make sure there are other activities that they can do on there, because if not, you're gonna have a long, boring vacation. Yeah. And kids are gonna be like, "What are we doing next? What are we doing next?" And then you might find yourself spending a lot more money because you're going on these excursions just to fill up your time.
Yeah.
And usually what we do when we go on vacation is every other day we're going to do something. So we're going to stay at the resort because you pay all this money for a resort. You might as well get bang for your buck. So that's what I'm saying. Try to find something that has a lot to do on the resort so you don't find yourself having to go out every single day to find something to do.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, the biggest thing also is really just to know your kids, because you can listen to our advice, but ultimately you know your kids. So
your kids might be chill, laid back kids who don't care. They just want to go to the beach. They might be teens who just like to read and relax, and that's up to you. But like you said, Jason said, you have to know your kids and know, our kids are all about adventure and activity and learning. So we like to do education plus fun built in there as well. Yeah. Hopefully all these tips help you. I do. I really do. I hope it helps you. I hope you feel what's best for you. Put in the comments though, which one you like: cruising, resorts, timeshares, all-inclusive. What works for you and your family? We would love to know.
Yeah, especially when you put notes inside the comments too, you help others. So there's so many comments that we have on our TikTok videos that we're seeing now of people going back and forth, and they're actually helping each other in the comments. So definitely leave it and see who you can help as well.
All right. Until next time, thanks. Peace. Thanks so much for watching this segment of La Pointe Life. If you want to watch the full episode, click this box below. And if you want to see more of our podcasts or just family-friendly content
like travel adventures, restaurant and activities, traveling with kids, or just ways to get outside of your neighborhood and see more, make sure you visit our full gallery here at La Pointe Life on YouTube. Catch you guys on the next one.